eye-opening experience, please go ahead and drop into the chat box where you are joining us from here today. As I mentioned, my name is Leslie. I will be your host for the day. And
Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be reacting to Rachel Rofe's low-hanging system webinar here. I'm somebody that's been making passive income on the internet since 2014. Today I make over 7 figures a year on the internet. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to online business models. And today I'm going to react to this business model and give you my 2 cents on what I think are some of the pros and cons of this business model.
friends over on the West Coast of the US, great to have you with us again.
Hey everyone. Awesome to see you guys. It's fun. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Oh, look, we got the background to actually work. What we're going to cover is how I built actually now over 5,171 mini income streams that cost pretty much nothing to set up and take less than 10 minutes, so $0 and then take less than 10 minutes each to set up. And this is all without having to build a website or pay for traffic or anything. It's a really cool model I think you guys can get a lot from. So you can see here, this is a picture of me with my nephew, and I won't give you the whole big long backstory and everything, but I used to be a Walmart cashier, didn't like it.
This business model that Rachel Rofe is bringing forth, and it's like print on demand using low ticket items.
Just to show you that this has been working year in, year over and over and over and over for such a long time. So it's not one of these like flash in the pan kind of business models. It's consistently been working amazingly. And I think a lot of that is because it really eliminates a lot of obstacles, because I don't know how much you guys have been doing with different online business stuff, but when you do this, you have no need to order a product from an overseas supplier. So you don't need to deal with that or building websites or tech. You don't have to purchase inventory. You don't have to have hassles with suppliers. You don't
Yes,
need
because
sell anything.
you're shipping directly from like a print on demand company,
Facebook ads. You don't have to
which
have
is
any
convenient because you don't need
complicated
inventory.
tactics.
However, you're going to
Just
have a
follow
lot
steps. We're going to go over the steps and you can
smaller
from start
profit
to finish,
margins.
bring in the sales. We're also going to go over some massive shortcuts, which just makes this just way easier. So there's a secret technology I'm going to share with you. It makes everything just kind of push button easy.
E-commerce is always competitive. There's always new sellers joining the space, which means that, it's not as long-term as she's trying to make it sound. You have to continually release new products because one winning product will not stay profitable long-term. It'll be outcompeted in a few months or a couple years by other sellers joining the space. This is why e-commerce is very, very competitive.
Okay, so here's why my students love this business model so much. Number one, it's really fun. It's just a really good time. I created it actually as a stress reliever a couple of years ago, not more than that now, it's 2016. I had such a fun time doing it. I would just lay in bed and do it on my phone. And you can see here other people. Adam says, this is literally the funnest business ever. I have to force myself to stop when I'm on a roll.
I see what they're doing. They're creating crazy amounts of listing on places like Etsy. Like this lady created 100 listing on Etsy.
Fast results. Now I don't like to promise anything,
but the problem with this
is
is
really awesome. Like you can see here, it says
when all the students start creating all these listings, then it gets saturated.
Just sold my mug too. Another one, first $1,007 a day. Another one, 21 days first Etsy sale. And then there's people that get even faster. It's also mostly passive, which is really nice. So every time I mentioned 5,171 income streams. So the whole thing is every time we create one of these listings, which I'm going to go over with you, it's like you put out another asset into the world and it can pay you ongoing for years and years to come. So it's really nice. You can see here, like this person says, I sold the mug on eBay, kind of forgot I even listed. So made a sale, another one made a sale in the middle of the night. So it's fun. Next, it just works. Like we have people all over who have gotten results with it. So it's been working since 2016 at this point. We've got all different types of people. I'll show you later. Have helped now over 1,000 people make their first sale online with the system. It just works. So important stuff to go over before we get into this. My results, the results of my students shared today are not necessarily typical. I can't guarantee
This is an income claim that you have to make. But yeah, I mean, this business model, the challenge is going to be when all these people are creating listings and selling similar products, like you will get less and less sales over time, especially if you have a product that you put out like years ago. Whereas the reason why I like my business model of local lead generation is that we have 7,000 students, but all the students can be in different cities. Like there's, easily 500,000 different cities that our students can go into in the US alone. And in each city, there's 50 different niches. So it's not like thousands of students trying to sell mugs on Etsy and creating each of them competing with each other, right? With local lead gen, you can be in your own city, your own town, and make 6-7 figures in your own state even. So this is why local lead gen is far less prone to being saturated than these e-commerce business models.
Now, there's a bunch of different e-commerce strategies out there. Each comes with its own kind of unique set of obstacles. From it could be requiring like a lot of money up front to driving traffic. And there's all different types of things. There can be huge rewards, and there's just some, obstacles that come up. So a few years ago, pretty awesome, I had a really big breakthrough that overcomes a lot of the usual business obstacles that a lot of people have with e-commerce. You guys see I talk with my hands a lot. You don't have to order a product of your own from an overseas supplier. You don't have to build a website, like I said before. You don't have to pay money for advertising, which is so cool. You don't have to have overseas suppliers. I know some people talk about ordering things from China or whatever, and it can be a nightmare. No inventory you have to buy up front, no special skills or experience needed, no selling, no finding clients, no traffic hassles. You don't have to have an email list. And so this is the thing that I've used to help hundreds of complete beginners, more than that really, start highly profitable e-commerce businesses from scratch. So the system...
Well, not having an email list is not great for e-commerce because that means you're not going to retain customers. You're not going to get second, third, fourth sales.
Fourth quarter, she said, it took me that long because I was doubting the system and chasing other shiny objects. Now I'm doing this full time, she says. Here's another one. Her first.
Yeah, you're leveraging these testimonials are great, but you're leveraging a print-on-demand company to ship all your products. So again, your profit margin is going to be very low. They're only talking about sales here, so I wonder what the profit margin is going to be. Most likely, it's like 10-15%.
And then he's been doing this for 5 years. His first Christmas was $3,000 total.
And also, how long-term are these results, right? Because all these other students are going to try to compete with you as well.
Just on Etsy. So lots of great results. And are you guys ready to learn the 3 secrets? If so, type in yes. Okay. So I'm going to go over kind of an overview of the secrets now, and then we're going to go into each one more, and then I'm going to give you an actual how-to of how to get these things done. So secret number 1 is that most people do e-commerce wrong and they don't make money. So this is a huge opportunity for us, as you'll see. Number 2, you can fail 98% of the time and then still build a highly profitable business. In fact, it's encouraged to fail 98% of the time, which makes it so much more.
Most people do e-commerce wrong. It's
like you don't have all this
more accurate to say that most people can't really compete in e-commerce because in e-commerce you're dealing with huge companies, brands, suppliers from China doing e-commerce. So like most e-commerce ventures fail because it's very, very cutthroat and competitive.
The flip side of that, though, is that there's a great opportunity to do it right and potentially make a lot of money. So let's dig in a little bit more into the e-commerce options. We've got Amazon versus Shopify. So Amazon, we all know what Amazon is, which is kind of the point of this section. There's a ton of people there. It's a marketplace where people go buy stuff, sell stuff. It's one of the biggest websites in the world. And so it already has a ton of traffic. They have already invested tons and tons of money into bringing customers.
There's also a lot of fees in Amazon, like 25% they'll take from your sales. It's highly, highly competitive.
So it allows a complete beginner to create their own e-commerce store. It's pretty easy to use. You don't have to pay Amazon commissions, so that's good. You don't need to compete with other sellers. The thing that doesn't work so well is that you need to find your own.
So yeah, you need to find your own traffic with Shopify. So, most people you have to buy for paid traffic. So Amazon takes 25% fees. Shopify, you have to pay 25% or more in paid traffic. So again, e-commerce, very, very challenging.
Amazon can fulfill your order. It's super simple to get up and running. And as I said, they'll bring the customers to you because Amazon's a buyer search engine, right? So Amazon, someone will type in, hey, I want to buy a funny shirt about.
Again, this is why I like local lead gen, because in local lead generation, I'm generating like leads for a local plumbing company or a roofing company, and I don't have to worry about big competitors from China and overseas. And I have to sell a product with low profit margin like a mug against Chinese companies. So it's like there's way more barrier to entry in local lead gen than e-commerce. E-commerce, anybody, any supplier from all over the world can join the business model and make it highly, highly competitive.
Every year. So you can see here a chart for Amazon Prime user growth just in the US, and you can sell in all the countries around the world. Here's another one just showing the revenue going up, up, up. And you can see it has swings and downs because during Christmas, it's going to be a little bit higher every year.
Revenue is going up for Amazon, of course, because users are going up, but the amount of Amazon Prime sellers, everyday people like me and you, being able to be successful on Amazon FBA, that percentage of people is actually going down because huge companies are taking over Amazon FBA.
Okay, so we're going through the different business models. Amazon's awesome for new businesses. I think we could probably agree on that. So what other choices then do we need to make? If we decide we want to do e-commerce, Amazon's where we want to go. So the solution, instead of spending more time doing research, more time doing all of this, is just fail faster. So the way that I've found is, what if you can kind of just like list 50 products for sale in hours instead of months? How fun would that be? And what if you could do hundreds in a matter of days, knowing like 98% of them, they're going to fail. Cool. But we still have winners at the end. So this is print on demand, the print on demand method. And we're going to go over some details and things here. So let's use coffee mugs here as an example. You can do this with lots of other products. I personally specialize in coffee mugs. So who here owns a coffee mug?
Coffee mug, each product is very low ticket, like $10, $15. Your profit margin is only 15%, 20% of that. So, I mean, you have to sell a lot to make any decent income with this business model. And the problem is, where are you gonna get consistent large amounts of traffic for a coffee mug when there's so many places on the internet where you can buy a coffee mug, right?
I know a lot of people do. Okay, we got yes, more than one. Yeah, lots of you. Now,
her strategy is to create a whole bunch of listings on places like Etsy. 98% will fail, but some will succeed. If 98% fails and some succeeds, how long, like let's just say you have a couple listings that are succeeding, how long will they stay profitable until somebody else's listings outranks your listing and then you have to go create more, right? So my concern is how long-term and consistent is this business model.
If I had a different girlfriend, I'd punch her in the face and go find you. Love your boyfriend. So this particular phrase has had 2,878 orders. It's brought in over $48,000 in revenue. That's gross revenue. I'm going to go over later the profit breakdown so you can see how much each mug, like what the take-home revenue is. But $48,000, one mug. Not bad. And the thing is, guys, we don't have to find mugs that already exist. We're selling things that they don't exist yet, and then they get printed after the customer orders it, which means we can list an infinite number of products. And I'm going to show you how you can make these designs in seconds. It's poetry. Now, you might be thinking, Rachel,
sounds like a lot of work you have to put in just to put out a whole bunch of mugs out there to get some sales.
Some of the ones I just showed you, plain black text only. That's it. So stay with me. I'll show you how easy it is to make these. And again, it's not just me. You can see here,
the reason why I like local lead gen is the consistency, right? I have websites from 7 years ago that's still making me $500 to $2,000 a month, and I don't even have to touch those sites anymore. With these mugs, they'll stop selling after a while, and then you have to continually put new listings for new mugs out there to continue to make profit. So
on Amazon, especially Amazon.
I don't see this as a long-term passive income stream model.
You try to make it. It's like the more people that might not jive with the design. So it's very hard for someone to not like black text on a white mug. Now this one for Father's Day sold a few hundred right away. And then it still sells with like birthdays around the year, Father's Day, Christmas, when people are just looking for like different gifts just because gifts. And then what I did with this particular phrase is I changed it around and I put it to other different things too, because we have luckiest dad. You could do luckiest grandpa, grandma, mom, nephew, whatever.
But using these unique quotes, I can see why some of these mugs are gonna sell over just a regular mug.
Right? It's funny. So you could do that with coach, clients, employee, etc. So there's really no need to overcomplicate it. Just that phrase alone that I changed to a couple different things, that's brought in over $67,000 in gross revenue. We'll go over take home, but it's pretty healthy. So here's another one. I do this for the money. Said no policeman.
I wish you would show the net profit much much faster, but I imagine 15% at best.
Whatever. And you can start to see how you can just scale these designs and have a huge pool of assets that you're selling. Each one of these designs too, by the way, I'm showing you mug, but you could put it on all different types of other products too. You can do
this feels more like a side hustle business where you can do this, and get some success, make some money. But with local lead gen, like I have actual digital properties that I own. It's more of an actual business because those digital websites that are generating income for me, it ain't going anywhere. So I can literally take a vacation for the next 6 months and still continue to make the same amount of income each and every month.
It has no seat, it has flat tires, and you're on fire. Or would you buy number 2, world's okayest teacher? Which one would you guys buy? If you were buying one for a teacher, you're going to get one of those. It's actually fun to see too, like what your guys' humor is, and yeah, which one? Got 1, 2, 2.
I mean, you have to understand with these quotes, so many other students are going to produce similar funny quotes on these mugs. So it's going to be very difficult for you to maintain consistent recurring income over time, because you're going to be competing with other mugs about teachers that are also funny, right? There's not that much competitive advantage or barrier to entry in this business model.
You don't have to overthink it. It's really going to be hard to know what's going to sell. It surprises me sometimes, but the secret is to just get lots of listings up as fast as possible. You fail quicker. You'll see some of them are going to sell, and then it could be easy money. What I found is the more listings that you create, the more money you make, right? So every time you create a new design, you're just putting another asset there that people can purchase for years and years to come, like I was saying. So that's a really cool way to come up with phrases. There's lots of different things. Here's another one. I like knitting and maybe like 3 people. You could change that to I like blank, whatever the niche is, and a handful of people. You could also use something like Pinterest. So lots of different examples here. For example, crafty is my name, knitting is my game. If I was doing a mug, maybe I'd do something like coffee drinker is my game, scrapbooking is my game. Then you guys, there's ChatGPT. So ChatGPT gives amazing, amazing ideas as well. So let me actually show you here. Oh, I do have a little typing here, where I could just ask ChatGPT, like, please give me 25 funny knitting phrases to put on a coffee mug. And now it's just going to give us some. So keep calm and carry yarn. That would be a good one. Knitting is my superpower. If you guys haven't used this, I'm just using chat.openai.com, and there can be so many good, like, look, Yarnivore.
Again, the problem with a lot of these strategies is, yes, these are good ideas to create different products with print on demand. However, the ease at which you can crank out these listings, there's no barrier to entry. So again, you have to compete with all these other print on demand sellers that can just as easily create all these listings at the same speed as you can. So this is why I like local lead gen, because it's not that easy to create website that ranks at the top of Google. So I don't have to worry about other people coming into my space and competing with me.
Part one here is you come up with your quote. So that was a demo. We did Google Images, Pinterest, ChatGPT. There's so many different ways to come up with ideas. So let me actually walk you through and show you just how mind-bogglingly easy it is to create these. Let me sign in here. So for this one, I'm just going to take this one.
Okay, so the rest of the webinar, she's going to walk you through the steps of kind of like taking those quotes and using a print-on-demand kind of store. You can even Google print-on-demand companies, and you can literally take a mug or a T-shirt, and you can put the quote, and they'll you can order it from them, and whatever quote it is, they can print on any of those products and ship it to the customer, and that's essentially what you do. Now, before I end this video, a few remarks that I want to make is that yes, print on demand allows you to get into e-commerce business without having to invest in your own store. But the drawback with that is the print on demand company is also making their own profit margin. So you have to, which cuts into your profit margin, right, as an e-commerce seller. So your profit margin is going to be a lot lower than a regular e-commerce brand that has inventory. So yes, it's cheaper to get in, but you have a lot less profit margin. You don't have as much competitive advantage, meaning other students even of this program can come in and create just as funny mugs and t-shirt designs as you can. And so over time, this business model will get more saturated. It will become more difficult to get sales. So I think this business model worked really well when nobody really knew to create hundreds of listings on Etsy with print-on-demand products, because again, that's a little hack, right? It's difficult to buy inventory for 100 different products with different quotes on it. People weren't able to do that before, but using a print-on-demand company, suddenly now you can create hundreds of listings with all different kinds of quotes without ever having to invest in an inventory. So that is a competitive advantage that allowed Rachel to find some success. However, because Rachel now taught that secret to all these other students now, this business model has suddenly become exponentially more challenging, more difficult than when Rachel first started, right? Because that leveraging a print-on-demand company and being able to produce 100 different listings was a hack. It's no longer a hack anymore because all these students are trying to do the same. Now, that is the unfortunate side of a lot of these other online business models is that when these courses are created, all these students learn that competitive advantage hack, and the business model no longer becomes easy, it becomes saturated. That is true with a lot of dropshipping business models, affiliate marketing, and Amazon FBA as well. And this this leads me to the main point, is that this is why I'm still a firm believer that local lead generation is one of, if not the best online business model out there, because even though we have our own competitive advantage, our own hacks, our students, we have over 7,000 students in our program. Our students aren't complaining about saturation, because the key with local lead gen is you're going into local, right? Instead of trying to sell mug and competing on a national or global scale, by using local lead generation, we can go into local cities, local towns. There's easily 500,000 different cities that our students can get into in the US alone, let alone like other countries that we can target. So, and each city acts as its own market. In each city, we can go into 50 different niches, from plumbing, roofing, tree care, lawn care, pool cleaners. So you're talking about infinitely more opportunities and spaces where there's virtually no students you're competing with. This creates a business model that is so much more evergreen and so much more if so much more effective than a lot of these other online business models where you're competing with other students that know the same hack as you do. In local lead gen, you're not competing with other students that know the same hack as you, because each city, students can easily go into different niches, different cities, without having to compete with another student of the program. So again, if you want more information about local lead gen, I firmly believe it's more of a long-term stable business than a lot of the e-commerce business models, because of that reason, because there's a lot less competition. And I have, and I've proven it to myself. I still have websites that I built 7 years ago still making me $500 to $2,000 a month. And I know that level of consistent income is not possible with e-commerce. So if you're interested, click on a link down in the description. I have a webinar where I spent a lot of time and money in producing, and this webinar is going to give you a lot more detail about the local lead generation business model and our coaching program. So see you guys on the next video.